Hello everyone, CornKid back, doing the second Elden Ring beginner tutorial video. I've picked all the things for my character and now I'm going to go ahead and start the game. For this video, again, this is sort of like the quick gameplay through the tutorial. I'm going to be skipping the cutscenes. You can watch the cutscenes, you can watch all the lore. They are pretty cool, but again, I just want to kind of keep this video on the short side. So if you've downloaded the DLC, when you spawn in, you'll get this. This is a gesture. You can do gesturing. And then when you have the HUD, that's the lower left. So I play with the controller. So left bumper for me, or L1 if you're using a PlayStation controller, is going to be the shield here. So that's hold your shield up like that. If you've got whatever weapon you have equipped, that's going to be the R1 for this small attack. Then the trigger will do sort of a secondary thing depending upon the skill that's assigned to your weapon. So talking about skills, go to equipment. So when you look on the equipment here, so longsword is what I currently have equipped. They're actually both things here are equipped. You can equip 3 weapons in your left hand and 3 weapons in your right hand. Or actually, sorry, this is right hand, this is left hand, my bad. So your right hand, so then when you look in the middle, it's got stats for your weapon, and this applies for everything. See it says longsword, and then it says what type of weapon, straight sword, then it does the type of damage. That is important. There are certain enemies that are resistant damage types and certain enemies that are susceptible or weak to damage types. That's relevant later in the game, obviously. Then the thing that says square off, that's what happens when you hit your trigger or your L2 button with it. Then it has your attacks, it has all the stats for the weapon. So physical, then if there's any, I guess status effects, status type stuff, magic, fire, lightning, I'll tell you. Critical is if you backstab somebody, if there's a damage multiplier. Then attribute scaling, it's the standard D, C, B, A, and S for getting better. And then if there's any passive effects, like again, a status effect or something like that, it'll be on the bottom. If you want, and again, you can sort of hit the help button for explanation, which will show you again, armament category, types of damage, the name of the skill, and then using a skill, as it says, uses your magic points, which is what they call FP, and then how much the weapon weighs. Again, the equip load, there is an equip load which affects your movement. So if you have too much weight, you move slower and you roll slower, and that's important in this game by a lot. Okay, then guarded damage negation. So even though this isn't a shield, it's a weapon, you can actually block with it. And again, physical 45 it only blocks 45% of the physical damage that comes in. So you will take damage with this if you're blocking with it. And then it'll block some magic damage coming in. So if you try to block a spell, it'll block 30% of the magic damage, and so on and so forth. And then stability. So when you're blocking, it does use up your stamina bar. And so the higher this number, the less of your stamina bar gets used when you're blocking. But if your stamina bar gets taken all the way to 0 when you get hit and you're blocking, you'll get guard broken, which leaves you open for riposte, high damage things. And certain big attacks, like from a boss, for example, if it takes your stamina all the way down to 0, you also take damage even though you technically block the attack. Okay, then over in this character status line, again, so it's got our stats, but it's also going to tell you the number for your HP. And then again, you replenish this by taking a red flask, your FP, which is magic points, you take a blue flask, and then your stamina is how much you can swing before you can't swing anymore and have to recover. If you use all your stamina attacking, you will have to wait till your stamina bar replenishes before you can start. Your equip load, again, right number, the 49.8 is your max equip load. 38.8 is all of your stuff combined right now that affects it, which is again your weapons and your armor. Heavy load is bad. That's the main thing. You don't ever really want to be heavy load. That's especially for a new player, because it affects how slow or fast you roll. And this game, you have something called invincibility frames when you roll, so you get more iframes. It's not like a ton or anything. It's not like you're going to go to like you're invincible for like multiple seconds when you roll, but it does matter, and the timing also matters of that. The poise. So if you're not blocking with something, like say you're trying to do an attack and you're getting attacked at the same time, the higher this number, the less likely your attack's going to get interrupted and it's affected by your armor. Discovery against your item finding number, and then memory slots is how many spells you can cast. So even though we don't start off with a casting item, this character can cast spells. They just because they can memorize spells and then they can cast them if you have the stats to do it, and you have the item to do it, which is again a staff. So I'll show you fat rolling real quick. That's what it's called in the community when you're heavy load and you try to move or try to roll. So again, here's the animation. Here's me running, which is not super fast. And here is the roll. That's slow. Okay, so now we're going to take off things until we see that thing go to medium load. Okay, and the number is a percentage of the maximum is how it determines it. Okay, so now here's medium walk, medium run, and the medium roll. And so you see that's significantly faster roll, and rolling is important in this game. Now we're going to take everything off and we're going to go to light load. Here's the walk, here's the run, and there's the roll. It's faster than the medium. And so it's really kind of a balance of what you want to do. It's always a good idea to have a weapon equipped. And see, with this, I have a weapon and a shield. And so, again, it's not terrible. Oh, and then on the stat screen, I was talking to you about the shields. So you guys see over here, so it's medium shield. The bigger the shield, the heavier it is. And then if you were attacking with the shield, which you can do, this is the type of damage it does. And then this is the skill on the shield. So parry. So not every shield can parry. Okay, parry and riposte is a strat in this game that is good if you're good at it. And then if you want a shield tank, you're not going to be parrying a whole lot. And my sort of two favorite skills are either parry or actually no skill. So you can actually get a skill that is no skill. And if you have no skill with your shield, what it means is if you hit the left trigger with your shield, what you'll do is you'll activate the skill of whatever's in your right hand. So that I think is pretty useful. If you like using the skill on your weapon, but you also like having a shield, because if you're gonna use the skill on your right hand weapon, you're gonna have to two-hand it. And so two-handing, this is something that took a lot of the Souls players or old school Souls players time to get down, because you used to just hit Y and it would two-hand. But in this game, Y doesn't do that. Y is your interact button. So I could come over here, pick up this thing. I'd have to do Y to do it. So two-hand, you actually have to hold the bumper down for whichever thing you want to two-hand. Oh, sorry, it's Y, and then you hold Y down and then hit the bumper, and that lets you two-hand it. And so for weapons, if you're doing that, it'll increase your attack damage because again, you're swinging more. Or if you're like really kind of in the thick of combat, you might inadvertently do that and two-hand your shield, and you don't mean to, but you can actually attack with your shield. This is where the strike damage comes in. But if you want to use the weapon skill of the weapon in your right hand, you have to be two-handing it, and then you can hit the trigger. So this is the special skill for this particular sword. And so if you're using no skill, you don't have to two-hand it. So you don't have to do that extra like Y and bumper. You can just hit the trigger. But right now, doing the shield ability, which is parry. Okay, so I'm going to go through this first part here, and then I'm going to get to, this is not the tutorial area, by the way. You start in the game. I guess I should put my armor back on. Actually, I want to put this armor on. And now medium load again. Still medium load, so I'm good. Okay, so we're going through the very first part of the game real quick. And if you don't want any spoilers, you know, cut the video now. It's only going to be about another minute at the most. And it's not like there's a big spoiler or anything, but no, if you've seen all the tutorial stuff, actually, you know what? I'm going to cut the video here. And then after this part is when you get to sort of what I consider the true tutorial of the game. All right, like the video, subscribe, Corn Kid out.